Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and more interestingly, happy first of the month. It is August 1st. We have gotten all the way through July, the final low action month of the NFL calendar. We basically got nothing but nonstop stuff to talk about for the rest of this year and at least the first month of next year. So we're here, we finally made it, and let's talk a little bit about July and let's talk about the month that we're about to have. Starting on the YouTube side of things, of course, July was what I expected it to be for about three quarters of it. And then in the last week or so, last week plus, we actually started to get some action from the Seahawks, and therefore we actually had things to talk about. The first few weeks of the month were very chill, very slow. I did my prediction series, which was a lot of fun. I was really happy that I was able to do that. Did predictions for most players on this team, did individual stat line predictions, did team predictions. So there's now a whole series of videos on my channel where I get to kind of offer what I suspect the various players on this team are going to do. So that's pretty cool. It was a good way to pass the time while we were waiting for actual things to happen. And we were able to wrap that up yesterday. So there wasn't a whole lot else going on in the early part of the month. There were a couple of other websites that were doing like player rankings and positional group rankings and things like that. And I talked a little bit about that, but that's always going to be secondary, of course, to how the team actually performs on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. And of course, even with all that being taken into consideration, how the team performs is more important than how the individual players perform. So it was a pretty cool way to pass the time. And then in the last week or so of the month, we got off to the races here. We had the Quandre Diggs restructure, we had the Uchenna Nwosu extension, and then boom, you're at training camp. And of course, I knew that training camp was going to be filled with a lot of fun stuff to talk about. There always is for every team. But yeah, we got off to a really nice start here. We've seen some really interesting things. We've seen some guys look better than I think anybody could have imagined. We've seen some guys who look like they've still got some work to do. We've seen some guys who have improved. And now we just have to wait and see if any of these things translate to the actual football field when the games actually start mattering. So it was basically the kind of month that I was expecting to have as a Seahawks fan and a Seahawks coverer, I guess you could say. So that all being said, we did, like I said, get a lot of stuff happening at the end of the month, and that kind of the month was very stagnant up until that point on YouTube, of course, right? Like I was posting 3 to 4 videos a week. And over the last week, I've been posting almost 3 to 4 videos a day. It's just night and day difference. We hit the sub goal pretty easily. I set the sub goal really low because I had no idea what to expect because I didn't know that we were going to restructure Diggs and extend Nwosu. For all I knew, we weren't going to do those things, and then there was going to be a lot less to discuss. Those two moves provided a lot of the compelling stuff for this offseason. Or I should say at least the month of July. So we passed that pretty easily. We're up to about 13,675. I set the goal at 13,600, so we crushed it. We almost got to 13,700. Probably another day or two we'll be there. And the month of August is obviously going to be a lot more active because we've got 3 preseason games. We've got the mock game before the preseason games. We've got news from training camp and practices. We've got the potential of moves being made. Like this would be the month where you might see, say, a Shelby Harris pickup. You might see another surprise signing. You might see a DeForest Buckner trade, I guess. I don't think you're going to see those things. I could see the Shelby Harris thing, but I'm not convinced about anything else. But this is the month where things like that are most likely to happen. I've said this before. Shelby Harris is a veteran. I don't think he wants to really mess around with training camp stuff, at least not the whole thing. So he's not going to really want to jump on until we get to pretty close to the season. And we're going to have the cut down day where we get down from 90 players to 53 players. We're going to have practice squad setting over the next few days after that. So we're going to have a lot more stuff to talk about. We're going to have actual games. We're going to have the excitement building up right to the season. We should get more and more clarity on what kind of team we're going to have. So it's going to be a much more fast-paced month. It's going to be a lot more videos, a lot more uploads. We're going to start streaming. Real quick, I will say that I'm going to do a solo stream tonight. And then Thursday, I believe, Thursday is going to be the return of me and the Hawk's Nest streaming. I'll make another video about that probably tomorrow. But we are going to get back in the saddle on this stuff, so definitely be excited for that. And basically, I think that for August, the goal should be get to 14,000 subs. 14,000 subs. That would just be adding like another 300, 325 on top of what we have, with the fact that we're actually going to have preseason games and cut down days and the mock game and all that other stuff. Should happen. So we're going to get there. We're going to also have some streams. We're going to be doing a few streams with the Hawk's Nest. We're going to be doing a few solo streams. So it's going to be a much more fun and active August. July went really well at the end. It picked up right when Seahawks action started to pick up. So that's exactly what you would expect, right? Like when nothing is going on and there's very little to talk about, it's just going to be slow. And it certainly was. And then the last week or so, it blew up because the team actually started making moves. So thank you to everybody who's been along for the ride over the past, years, I guess you could say. But thank you to everybody who hung around throughout the month of July. It was slow, but now here we are. So that's basically all I can say about the YouTube stuff. It was exactly the kind of month you would expect to have given the schedule that we had. Now August, now we're looking at nothing but action for 5 to 6 months in all likelihood. So that is the YouTube side of things. Now, as for Twitch, I just want to talk about Twitch real quick. July was good. We are playing through Death Stranding now. I finally beat Elden Ring. So I started on Death Stranding, which has been a fun and interesting playthrough. A lot of people getting a kick out of that one, I think. And we are still going through Final Fantasy 16. There were quite a few days when I didn't stream. Either I couldn't or I didn't feel like it. So it was a little bit less active on Twitch than it typically is. But we did almost get through Final Fantasy 16. So we're close. I think we're going to get there sometime in the next week. We're going to beat that game. And then over on Twitch, I will say this. Things are going to get more chill, I think. We're going to be playing older games. We're going to be playing more obscure games, chill games. Like, I've been talking about doing an Animal Crossing run for a little while now because that's the definition of a chill game. And I've needed a chill game to play lately. So I think that Animal Crossing is probably going to be it. And I kind of wanted to play some Tycoon or Manager type games for a little while as well. So you may be seeing those in the coming couple of weeks as well. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I'm looking for things that are a little more chill because after playing through Jedi Survivor, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, to a certain extent Final Fantasy 16, these are like action, high focus, in some cases, high difficulty games that are really going to push you as you're playing them, some more than others, but it's time for me to do something chill, so that's going to be what's happening on Twitch this month in all likelihood. That's really about it for updates. That's really all I have to say about how things are going. Like I said, I don't think there's anything that needs to be introduced about football for the rest of the way. I think everybody gets it. This is when things start to really happen. This is when everybody gets pulled in. Like, training camp stuff is not for everybody. OTAs, mini camps, that kind of stuff, not for everybody. Contract stuff, not for everybody. But preseason, you start to expand out a little bit. A lot of people are going to watch the preseason. Some people aren't super into it, but most people are going to at least watch it. And then you get to the regular season and everybody is on board. So I'm excited. I think pretty much everyone out there is excited. Thank you for the great month of July. We ended up picking up somewhere around, I think just around 100 subs over the course of the month. I expect that to obviously accelerate as we actually move forward into preseason. But it was a good month. When things happened, people wanted to hear about it. People wanted to talk about it. We've had a lot of fun in the chat of streams on YouTube and Twitch. And I know people are going to be excited for me and the Hawks Nest to get back to the dual streams. So I just hope everybody's ready for what should be a really fun and really promising season. And yeah, we're almost there, guys. Almost there. So I'm tweeting a little bit more, by the way. Let me just put that out there. Or Xing or Zing or whatever you want to call it now. I'm actually doing that a little bit more lately. So if you're not following me over there on Twitter, you may want to go ahead and do that if that's of any interest to you at all. That's where I tweet about some Mariner stuff, occasionally some Seahawks stuff as well. I no longer tweet out every time I post a YouTube video because I haven't found an app yet that will do it, but I'm still looking. And yeah, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Thank you for the great month of July, and here's to a great month of August.